Welcome to Cascade Conversations. Join the Cascade Partners team and our network of trusted advisors as we work to demystify the details, terminology, and strategies of acquisitions, divestitures, financings, performance improvement, and restructuring.
One of the things that we've been encouraging our clients to do, we generally represent family-owned businesses, single, maybe dual shareholders. This business has been their life for many decades, and they've built it up and have strategic plans, et cetera. And then when they sell, they generally are retiring. Mm-hmm. And so we've encouraged our clients to think about a 5-year strategic plan post-sale. What are you going to do? What would you like to do? Whether that's charitable, whether that's recreational, et cetera. And why I think this plays into preparedness is deal structure, right? And understanding what's important to the seller way in advance of the negotiation of that agreement.
Absolutely.
Maybe you could expound upon that.
Yeah, very similar. I mean, deal with lots of people who, when they sell, they're more or less saying, "I'm done. I'm ready to be done working." So in those situations, you have to look at what the buyer wants from the seller in terms of staying on. There's often a retention period because, where you have a company where it's, 2 or 3 people are integral to the success of it. They don't want to close the deal and have those people just run away. Right. They need to transition the business. So they're going to be retained for some period of time. Depending on the buyer, I mean, I love as much cash at closing as possible.
Most sellers do.
Most sellers do.
Yeah.
But a lot of times there will be like rolled equity components to it, which can be really, really profitable. There's sometimes you see seller financing where essentially you're deferring to receive the purchase price over, a year or 2, 3 years maybe. You're getting interest on it. It's not as attractive from an investment standpoint. I mean, you're basically getting an interest rate, but it doesn't give you as much freedom instantly as you might want. You'll see earnouts from time to time. Mm-hmm. Those can work. They can be challenging. They're typically based on financial metrics of the business a year or 2 years following the closing. If you hit them, there's a big number. If you don't hit them, there's nothing.
Right.
And so in terms of planning, it is sort of how much are you committed to the transition period? How much tail risk, I guess we'll call it, mm-hmm. Are you willing to accept maybe for a better number in total, but it may come later.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot about, you just don't want to be surprised. You don't want to have somebody that really is serious. I don't want to work again in a year.
Right.
And they find that not only are they working, they're really hoping that they don't have a lot of reps and warranties to deal with, that the earnout may work, right. all these other things. Right. So very, very important thing to think about.
Thinking about that 5-year vision for themselves as a person
yes.
plays into and is helpful in us structuring
sure.
How the deal works. I want to ask you down a thread about the rollover equity. And for those that haven't heard it, oftentimes a buyer will ask, hey, take some of the proceeds and invest alongside with us in this next level of growth. And right now, private equity and platform investing is a real hot topic where there's a large company and the large company is buying smaller companies. And maybe they would buy a company like ours that's happened to us directly. And to roll over some of the cash into the deal, you can get some economic arbitrage right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's a worthy conversation when you're putting together the purchase agreement.
Certainly. I mean, you're going to benefit from that buyer's capital from day one if you're rolled over.
Right.
So yes, it can play out very nicely, and you're talking about more or less private investment, private equity types of returns, which typically are going to outpace public market types of returns. So it can be a really good move.
So in that 5-year strategic plan that we're encouraging is also a component of working with your wealth manager to understand what kind of cash you need
Mhm.
to live the lifestyle you want.
Right.
Maybe one other thread on that is gifting and the tax implications. I know you're not necessarily a tax specialist, but you deal with this all the time. Is when should a company start doing valuations for gifting, and what triggers kind of valuation for the enterprise once they're in an M&A process?
Yeah. And I should have. I do lots of tax work. It's kind of actually kind of how I ended up doing M&A work. They're sort of a natural fit with each other. But the gifting component, that's such an estate planning question, and it has so much to do with possibly who's getting it, when they're getting it, what they're going to do with it, how much control does the person gifting it want to have over what they're doing with it. The valuations of those things they're fairly strict. You have to have a conforming valuation method.
Yeah.
The best way to do it is to have a third party do it. It's expensive. People sometimes resist that. There are other ways to get there, but the third party one is the safest thing to do by far.
And doing that as part of the sell side preparation of valuing the privately held company before you get into the process could be of tax benefit. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm an ex-military guy, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
Navy engineer. So we love checklists. We run our day by checklists. Is there a sell side readiness checklist that you have, or a diligence item? Like, how do you go about this if someone engaged you as to help them get ready?
Yeah. And I do a fair amount of work on the buy side too. I'm kind of passionate, I guess, about the sell side, but the buy side, I mean, in my role, I would take a buy side diligence checklist and let's go through what you have in your company right now. Can we give you these documents? If we do, what do they say? You go down that line. And sometimes there are things that people have never thought about that are legal issues. And, intellectual property, things, you see that.
I-9 compliance?
I-9 compliance. Numerous things that people they're running a business and they're running it successfully. But these are like esoteric, legal, technical things that if they don't become a problem while you're running the business, people tend to think that they aren't going to be a problem when you go to sell it. And that isn't the case.
Yeah.
Because fundamentally a buyer wants to de-risk the transaction as much as they can. And those are sources of risk.
Yeah.
So
that's a great way to kind of wrap up our conversation. I appreciate you coming, having this with me. We're on a second deal in the sports construction business, as I had mentioned, and we just got the band back together. So I'm glad to be a part of the team with you. So thank you for the conversation, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for joining us for Cascade Conversations. For more information, please visit cascade-partners.com or call 248-430-6266.